top of West Michigan. The new B1039 is WPZX Big Rapids.
I love this music. I love it.
What's going down?
80s and more. B1039.
Morning sun lights the day, Pat and Brian on the way. Stories of a small town life. Sports and joy cut like a knife. Hot stove leading for a chat. High school dreams and college stats. Wednesday morning tales unfold, memories and news retold. Tune in B1039, Curries voice and life's sweet line. Sheriff Miller by his side, lively bluegrass, hearts alive.
Well, this morning, Sheriff Miller is not by Pat's side. Sheriff Miller is between us. Good morning, sir.
Morning. How are you?
All right. Here it is, Wednesday morning, time of the Hot Stove League, and we have a room full of guests, which you love.
We
so
do.
Let's get right to it.
Well, to start off with, I think we got to honor the guests that are here first. And so I have my co-host this week. A couple weeks ago, I had John Zacco as my co-host. Last week, I had Joe Van Coolen and Nick Shively. And today, Tyler Schuberg.
Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to it. Brian, he texted me, he calls me last night, and he's like, well, you know, I'm just not going to be able to make it. You're going to have to anchor the whole show. And I go, thanks, Brian. We're going to be talking about golf, something you and I know nothing about.
Well, yeah, I have a tendency to double book sometimes, so but I got us covered. And our two guests today, we have a Hall of Fame coach, coached probably, I think 22, maybe 22 plus years at Big Rapids, both boys and girls, Mark Posey. And then we have a rookie coach at Chippewa Hills, Matt Lochner. So I thought, you know, what better comparison to have than a Hall of Fame, been in the, I guess, trenches, hopefully not the sand too much, but for a long time, yeah. And then somebody that's kind of just getting their feet wet, not in the water, the pond, but otherwise. So thought that's the way, it'd be a good way to start. Know both of them pretty well, and a lot of respect for both. So I guess I kind of want to start. What I always like to do is go around our table, talk a little bit about who you are, especially, you know, both guests, but the co-host too, a little bit about who you are, and then we'll kind of jump into their background, what got them to be the coaches, and I guess more importantly probably to them right now are their teams and expectations for this coming season. So I'll start with Tyler and we'll work our way around.
Hey, well, that sounds good. Well, Tyler Schuberg Insurance Agency, thanks for having me, and really appreciate being on with two great guests. Know both of you, great community members, and I just know that both of your teams are really lucky to have head coaches like yourselves. Obviously, one proven, one coming, but Matt, I know you're going to do a great job with that. And, you know, Brian and I, we go golfing quite a bit, don't we? At least once a year, and that's quite a bit for you and I golfing-wise,
yeah,
isn't
we try it.
We try it. We do try. We do try, you know. And I realize that I have to keep buying sponsored balls just so you and I can finish at least 9, right?
Right.
But we have a lot of fun when we do it.
Funny story. So came up on a Facebook feed or something. Liz West and I both, she's our administrative assistant / deputy at the sheriff's office, and we worked together at the city of Big Rapids for a long time together. And at one point, we had like a little small golf team. We'd go for events from our Big Rapids Police Department, and our boss at the time, Andrew Nurbin, bought golf balls with our insignia and then our badge number on it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't have any left.
I don't have any left.
And so a couple of years ago, remember, I think we went to Tullymore one year and golfed before our fantasy football draft we had. And a couple of years ago, my wife comes home with a golf ball and says, look, somebody brought this into the office and they found this in the woods. And I'm like, huh, all right. So I guess that's where my golf skills
Yeah, and that's actually what I do with our sponsored balls is they're intended to be lost and found. So we'll put things on there. What once was lost is now found and things like that, and make it fun, you know.
Right. So, Mark, we'll start with you. I guess a little background on yourself personally. And then maybe, a little bit about your career as a golf coach. I know your first career as a teacher. a little bit about that, and then I'll move to Matt, and then we'll kind of get into your teams.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Reed City, local area. Went to school at Michigan State, and been at Big Rapids. This is my 28th year, coaching the boys. Back in 2000, I started out, boys and girls, as an assistant with Howard Strom.
Awesome guy.
Took over for him with boys in 2004, and took over girls in 2009. So kind of, picking away at it for the last 20 plus years, and enjoying it.
Howard Strom.
Howard is awesome.
Howard's great.
Is Howard still in the area?
Howard is still on my staff.
I love Howard.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy that he took over for Tim Buckingham.
Wow.
I know, in 92.
Tim was a golf. I mean,
Tim
I knew
was a golf
baseball.
coach,
I knew
absolutely,
basketball.
man. And Tim Buckingham's also on my staff. We added him last year.
Oh, that is
He's
awesome.
been getting back into golf.
So Tim, Howard,
Yep.
Ron
Welch, absolutely. Justin Fox.
Oh my gosh.
You got an all-star squad here.
Oh,
Well, that sounds like a fun group.
Yeah,
of
fun
guys.
We're not
group,
done
right?
yet. I added TJ Klein this spring.
And TJ, do you know
Yep.
TJ?
Yep.
Yep.
My probably one of the best people you will ever meet.
Yeah, he's great.
I mean, truly mean that.
Yeah.
Howard coached me in freshman basketball.
That is so. I
back a
didn't
long
realize
ways.
that your staff is what it is, but
Yeah.
wow, that is awesome.
Yes, we're fortunate to have some great guys that they work well with the players. So
Now, I
real
believe
fortunate.
you also coached my brother Kyle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so my brother Kyle, he's the golfer of the family, puts me to shame, and he's continued that trajectory.
Good.
He's an unbelievable golfer, hits it 300-plus yards every time. He actually hit a hole-in-one at States.
And the 12th hole.
On the 12th
Really?
hole,
Acres
yeah.
West. I'm like, absolutely.
That's
Yep.
pretty cool. That's awesome.
You guys won that year, I hope.
I believe they came in 4th or 5th.
Yeah, they didn't win, but
No.
yeah, fourth
yeah,
or
they
fifth,
were
something like
close. Yeah, they had good teams when he was. When he was in
Well, I
school.
remember going and watching you guys in states when Catkeys hosted in the past, last probably 5-6 years, and I remember going up on that day and watching just
seeing what it's about.
yeah.
Yeah, seeing what kind of young
a lot
talents
of times
out
you
there.
guys,
and
you'd
see
be
what those
facing
young
my
kids
alma
can
mater.
hit.
You'd be Lumen Christie's where I went, and they were regularly there.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Swarthart has.
Is he still there?
Oh yeah,
He was there when I was there. So, and even beforehand. So I want to say,
Well, I think he's celebrating
40-some years.
He's celebrating, I think, 50 or 55 this year.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 17 state championships, something like that. It's just crazy.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Start
Yeah.
putting the rings on toes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, him and Herb Brogan, the football coach. So,
Right.
Yeah. All right, Matt.
Hey, welcome, guys.
Welcome.
So today I decided to wear something old and something new. So obviously I'm wearing my Chip Hills golf hat today, but I'm also wearing my alma mater, Flint Powers Catholic.
Okay.
That's where I played high school golf at. Spent 3 years at Flint Powers playing there, and ironically never played a single varsity round. Only played JV.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. When that time at Flint Powers, they won state championship after state championship, and I had great coaches as a kid growing up, whether it was Don Van Orden, Bob Beach, Jim Snow, Jack Snow, all four of them Hall of Famers. But it was one of those things where when my senior year came, they won a state championship, and these guys are shooting subpar. So it was one of those things where Bob Beach looked at me and said, Matt, you still got good talent. Why don't you just focus on playing regional events in tournaments out of state and that kind of stuff? And that's why I focused on my senior year. And obviously what brought me to Fair State and what brought me to Big Rapids initially was the golf management program. So I came up here under Doc Pinner, and I played in the program for 2.5 years, got my certification as an apprentice with the PGA, went on to do 3 internships with the golf management program. My first one was at Captain's Club in Grand Blanc, where I grew up, home of the Buick Open. And going into my freshman year of college, I was able to play with Sergio Garcia and a few other pros on
Awesome.
the PGA Tour.
That's cool.
So it was kind of a neat opportunity to meet guys who are the same age as me. But obviously, I finished my degree in education at Fair State, became a high school teacher down at Lake Fenton, where I coached varsity golf for 3 years. But then took 17 years off from the game of golf, period. And it was one of those things where I just needed to focus on raising a family, establishing my career. And then the opportunity came back where I said, you know what, this is a chance for me to give back. Flint Junior Golf was a program that I was very involved with. Got a scholarship to Fair State to go into the golf management program from that organization. And now it's my chance to give back to the community and coach golf on top of my day job as a realtor at Century 21.
Yeah, and I just want to let everybody know out there that Matt is still selling houses out there. So if you're questioning if he's giving up his day job, he is not. On spring break, he's working 60-plus hours. So, if you're looking for a house, hey, Matt's the guy to call. So
I appreciate that. But no, I mean, honestly, the time dedication that you give these kids is the time flies by. It's a lot of fun. The kids are eager. They're excited to get going. And, I know a lot of their parents, and it's kind of funny because I was thinking about it today when I was getting ready in the shower, and I was like, man, the last time I coached varsity golf, half these kids weren't even born yet.
jeez, right?
It's kind of like, man, it makes me feel dated a little bit. But the same instance, though, it's kind of like getting on a bike, and after you rode it once, you get back on, you figure it out. And, it's fun to compete against these kids because when I'm at practice, I play with the kids, and I'm right there with them so I can watch their swings, give them advice on course management, that kind of thing when you're on the course.
That's great.
So, who do you have on your staff? Or, I mean, it might be a little different from, Big Rapids to Chip Hills. I mean, and, maybe not being as established yet. Maybe you don't have that group of assistants there, to help you out.
Yeah, this year was kind of a unique year because, what I would like to have had was more kids try out for the team, but we only had a total of 11. And that's kind of an awkward number where you have 11. It's not quite enough to have a JV team, but it's still more than what you really need for a varsity team. So I said, you know what, we're just going to keep these kids because a lot of them are young freshmen and sophomores coming up. Let's give them the experience. Let's see what they do when they compete against better players. Give them that match sense in practice so that way they've got 4 years to develop their game and eventually be a contributor as a senior.
So expectations for this year for Big Rapids, Mark? I mean, I know you guys have quite a number of players. How many total do you have between varsity and JV?
Yeah, we've got 31 on the team. Anybody that comes out, we keep them on the team. We teach them how to play. Obviously, we have kids on the team that have no interest in playing competitively at this point, and they understand this is a safe place. Come out, learn how to play, get the instruction you need, hang out and be social with your friends, and learn that golf's a game that you can play the rest of your life.
Right.
You've got a lot of great facilities in this area to go do that, and, it's a great game you're not going to let go of. So, those kids understand that, with 30 plus out, and they're flexible with their schedule, so it makes it work. Like right now, I haven't seen my freshmen because they're in driver's ed.
Oh.
It's like every day, every day after school. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, I won't see you until after spring break. So it's been, kind of weird, but a little flexible with those kids having driver's ed and things going on in their lives. So they know that they can come in and get what they need, and and those that want to be competitive, they put in the time.
So just for the average person listening right now, for a varsity match, what kind of goes into that? We got 31 players. How many players go into the varsity match? What does that look like? And do you rank players and things of that nature?
Yeah, that's a great question. With the 31 in any given tournament, you're only playing 6 players. The rest of them go back to school. I'm fortunate enough to, again, it's, in Big Rapids here to have an athletic director, a school board, an administration that supports having 31. They allow us to, I'm playing 3 different teams. I mean, I'm playing a freshman team at varsity tournaments because in high school, like Matt said, the numbers when you get down to JV aren't the greatest, so the opportunities to play freshman golf aren't there. I've got to travel to Grand Rapids, East Lansing. I might be able to hook up with Ludington, but that's still, an hour and 15 minutes away. And so I'm trying to find anything I can for these kids. So those kids that are ready, a lot of times we'll throw them in varsity tournaments, and so you'll go and, they'll still get that chance to play. So, I've got, I want to say 31 tournaments, set for this year.
Wow. That's good.
You're only allowed 16. And so that means my JV, my freshmen, they're playing another 15 tournaments outside of my varsity playing 16. So, we're trying everything we can to get them out involved. And it's a little different this year. I've got a strong senior class of kids that just love golf. And they just want to be competitive. They might not be the greatest players, but they still want to go play. So we're playing like 2 teams up at Traverse City. We're going to send 2 teams to Matt's tournament here in a couple weeks, and give those kids a chance to go out and, see what they have.
That's great.
Yeah. So our foreign exchange student that we have, Tavi Toivanen, is went out for golf. He played football this year. Never played football before.
First timer.
Never played from Finland, and then was the starting kicker on the team. And I came here to play hockey, did that. And then they have baseball in Finland too, but baseball in Finland is much different than here. It's almost like a softball where it's a slower. So he was going to go play baseball, and then one morning he went with my older son who pitches on the high school team, and he came home and said, "Yeah, I'm not doing that."
That was a wake-up call.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go out for golf. I'm like, all right. So I got a hold of Ron Welch and said, "Hey, Ron, what's he need to do?" He said, "Have him go in the office, let Mark know," and from there. And so he's been coming home when he's been practicing, he comes home every day and he's loving it. I mean, he's happy. And I said, well, when there was one day he stayed after, I think maybe Friday, he came home late because he went and golfed 18 or something after practice, just, work on it at 9 maybe to work on his game. And, I said, well, what are your expectations? He goes, well, we got a pretty good team. He goes, so I know I'm probably on that second varsity, and if they call, I'll do what I can.
That's a great attitude to have. I mean, willing to fill in and be that part of that team, and he is. Toby's great. Got a great swing, got great speed. I mean, I'm amazed at these young kids how hard they go at it. It's fun to watch.
What a great experience for a foreign exchange student, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, playing football, I'll try out baseball, not my thing. I'll go do golf,
He
right?
comes home, he goes, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do baseball.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Cam
Cam can throw pretty hard, too, so if they're playing catch, that might be a wake-up call right now.
Well, Toby throws hard, too.
Oh, does he?
I think it just being in the batter's box, having that, a little bit quicker ball coming at you, I think changed his outlook a little bit. And he came home and said, well, I'm going to do golf. And I'm like, all right, we'll get on it then. So you got two, a varsity 1, varsity 2, and then it can go depending on the day or
yeah,
where
absolutely.
people are
My
at.
freshmen understand. Well, my varsity understands that if you're a freshman, you're coming in and you can prove that you've earned that spot. Then there's no ceiling there. You can work your way up and be a part of that varsity. And my varsity, my seniors know that hey, you're just because you're a senior, it doesn't mean that you're getting any playing time. And so yeah, we try our best to get as many kids as we can playing that want to get out and play.
So your home course is Catke.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what do you guys use for a home course then for Chip Hills, Matt?
We use the Royal.
Oh, the Royals? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll have a few matches over at St. Ives Tullamore too as the year goes on.
Yep.
So our practices are primarily at Canadian Lakes, but then our range practices are over at St. Ives. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate Gary Lewandowski and the team over at Tullamore facilitating us on their driving range so that way we can practice when the season gets a little later in the year.
Awesome. So the CSAA moving. So who's the team to beat then in our conference this year? And it's okay to say yourself.
I mean, it's interesting to me as golf, you can have anybody come in. You get freshmen, they come in and they'll shoot 74, 75 because golf lately in the last 10, 15 years, kids have been starting, it's a little bit more popular. It's one of those sports that they put in that time. I've got great depth. I know that, but you never know what schools are going to have when they come in with, incoming 8th graders, 9th graders. So, and even transfers. So, I've got a good squad. We've never lost a CSA, league. We've got, I don't know what, since 04 we've been in this league. So it's been 20 plus years that we've got, a run on the conference championship. But, we've got some work to do if we want to compete at the state level. So that's what we're working towards.
I heard the number 74. Last time you and I touched that was a scramble with grenades, string,
right. Yeah,
and I think unlimited
scramble.
mulligans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for a person scramble.
Sometimes that's exactly what you want to do.
That's kind of how I approach high school ball.
Right. Yeah.
So Matt, what's your outlook for this year, or who's maybe some players that right now you're looking to? That are coming back.
We're definitely going to be competitive. I mean, obviously, losing 2 of our seniors from last year, Cam Morgan and Slasser, it's hard because we're losing some good leadership on that team. But the good thing about this team is that before they departed, they actually have instilled the leadership into the players who are coming up this year. So we got an exciting year coming. I think Dylan Borma is going to have a great year. Okay. I think that Cody MacArthur is going to be stepping up as a junior. He's going to be fantastic. Already in these early practices, they're showing that they're shooting in the high 30s for practice scores, and it's 48 degrees outside, and they're still shooting in the 30s. That's pretty impressive. But obviously, time's going to have to change. Where we're going to have an interesting ride is in our 3, 4, and 5 man spots. It's going to be a complete dogfight. We've got some sophomores and juniors who are going to be competing to get those 3 spots filled, and they're really kind of duking it out on the practice course right now, trying to get those spots earned. So the time will tell. We'll see how we'll develop as the year goes on. But there's definitely good leadership there. Cam Morgan has shown that he's been interested in trying to take a coaching role with the team. And obviously he just graduated last year, so I'm kind of letting him be a little bit like a graduate assistant, where it's kind of like, come to practices, watch how I do it, fill in some pointers if you want to. And he's been a leader to these kids for the years in the past. So it's kind of like, let's nurture that ability, because he's going through the PGM program right now.
Okay.
And it's like, let's go ahead and give him a few other aspects so that way he can earn his credits towards the PGM teaching hours along with his team for the spring. So.
Well, sometimes those are the best coaches, or maybe those younger guys that lead by example, that have been there, done that. The kids see that, and then when they come back, they can relate a little bit, maybe more so than some of us older coaches.
Oh, absolutely. I can see Cam down the road, maybe 3-4 years from now, being an assistant coach or something like that with the team. It's difficult because he is a recent graduate, so we don't necessarily want to put him in that role right away. But at the same as though he's got great knowledge to share with the kids. He understands competitive golf. He's been in the scenarios. He knows the pressure. He can share that experience with the kids, and they're listening, and they're taking notes from him. So that's a benefit to have for our team.
Hey, Matt, how much does it help to come into a scenario where, because I was just reading some of the things on Facebook about your team and stuff, but it just sounds like you just got a bunch of quality players on your team and good people, good kids. And how much does that make it easier for your job stepping in to coach these kids for the first year?
100%. I had the blessing to know a lot of the parents before going into this role. And just getting to know the parents as the season goes on, extremely supportive. They're in my corner. And the administration at Chip Hills has been fantastic. They've been very supportive. They've been helping me make this transition an easy process. And all in all, it's been a beneficial scenario because you've got great kids on the team. And it's the same for Big Rapids. It's the same for Lakeview. These kids in the conferences, they're just good kids. And, when you go into this, you kind of want to establish, all right, I want to make you guys leaders of men. Well, they've already got those skills, and it's like, okay, now we just got to nurture it, put it together, and see what we can do to make them beneficial for the future.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break. I got my note from Bob. Usually, because we don't get this, we keep going.
That's right.
But we have to give some kudos to our sponsors, so I'll let Bob run with that, and then we'll be back in a minute.
All right. Of course, brought to you by Big Rapids Tire and by Zott's Bar and Grill. More with Curries Hot Stove League with Tara Brian Miller coming up. Come say cheers at Zott's Bar and Grill in Big Rapids. Great food, great prices, and great people, where everybody knows your name. Zott's, people's choice for best soup. You don't want to miss their award-winning burgers and chili as well. Originally opened in 1933 and serving it up ever since. Seasonal beers on tap. Located at 732 North State Street in Big Rapids. Roxanne and Doug at Zott's Bar and Grill are proud sponsors of the Signature Player of the Week for the Curries Hot Stove League every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. When was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout, or worse, visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town. All right, and we are back.
All right, welcome back. So
I got a question, Brian.
Well, Jen has to. I got to introduce you guys, reintroduce you guys.
Oh, we got to get
Jen
reintroduced.
always reminds me whenever you come back from break.
Good
in case
job.
Somebody wasn't there. Reintroduce everybody. Thanks, Jen. All right. So we have the co-host this week. We have Tyler Schuberg filling in for me, who's filling in for Pat. And we have Big Rapids high school golf coach, Hall of Famer, 2024 Golf Coach of the Year for the girls golf. And
You didn't give his name.
Mark Posey. Mark Posey. And then we have, again, rookie coach for Chip Hills Golf, Matt Lochner.
We're just going to beat that one into the ground,
That's all right.
Next year you'll be returning, and then that's old news.
Yeah, that's old news. Well, I look out the window and I still see some snow, and I figure it's kind of hard to get some swings in. So how much do your teams or your players utilize those indoor golf facilities? Is that a thing, or I'm just curious on if those are used during the winter, or how dedicated they are, how good they are?
Yeah, I mean, at Big Rapids, we have an arrangement with Ferris State University and CACI to have access to those bays. They're putting green downstairs, and they've got 3 nets that they can hit downstairs. So, and a lot of our boys are members at CACI, so they get memberships that allow them to reserve those bays with the simulators. And those simulators are unreal. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do, have a lot of different fun on them. And so, no, we take advantage of them a lot. Like every day at practice, we're there 4 to 6, where we've got a bay reserved. And so, we get to take full advantage of it.
That's great. Brian, when you do the simulators, there's another thing you can just blame your bad shot on. So when I was up there and hitting, I was just blaming the simulator. It wasn't tracking my ball right. I was hitting it too hard. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. Where we took my younger boy Cooper. He had a birthday party for his, I don't know, 5th or 6th birthday. We went up to that when St. Ives, I think, had the Top Golf or whatever. We took the kids out there, and that was something to be seen.
Yeah, right.
So I guess question I have is not playing the team sport of golf in the past, but playing a lot and coaching a lot of team sports when it comes to football, basketball, and baseball. I guess what's the difference? Because you look at golf kind of maybe as an individual, but at the same time a team, and how do you build that team camaraderie? Because a lot of times with the other team sports, they got to really rely on one another in game to get by. So there needs to be some kind of cohesiveness there. How's that different with golf than it maybe is for baseball or football or something like that?
Well, I mean, what other sport do you play in that you have to call your own penalties and you don't have a referee?
That's a good point. Honor system.
There's a when it comes to the game of golf, it's such a unique process because when you think about it, these kids are on their own and they got to go out there, and if they flub a chip shot and they, it's easily that no one saw it. It's easy for them to say, hey, I never did it. But the reality is that's a stroke. And most of these kids, I've watched them on the course, they're not afraid to call their own penalties and say, yeah, I made this mistake. I got to make a recovery from it. That integrity that these kids present, and it's not just at our school, it's at Big Rapids, it's at all these conference schools. These kids understand that there's a responsibility that, hey, I got to be independent of myself and I got to be honest with myself. And as they work together, you can see that kind of harmonizes and blends as a team, where these kids are saying, hey, listen, we're going to encourage each other. We're going to build each other up. Even I'm seeing right now, my seniors are influencing the underclassmen, the freshmen. They're giving them encouragement. And that helps immensely, where I have one player who I know has never swung a competitive golf club in his entire life, but I paired him up with the top player on the team, Dylan Borma. And as Dylan's playing with them, he's saying, just relax. You're okay. You're going to be fine. And this kid shaved off 10 strokes from practice 1 to practice 2. So, that kind of camaraderie, they automatically build themselves. And it's something that you can't teach. It's something they learn at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, within the team, even though you might on the golf course be away from each other, they still have that, that team bond with each other, that they know that, hey, I'm still a part of this. And if I have a bad shot, that, I'm still responsible for this team score. I can't forget that. You can't just throw my, my score away on the day necessarily. You want everything to count, and, like Matt said, at practice, our seniors are paired with our freshmen to help bring them along, because they do. They come in with the attitude of thinking that they've got to be the greatest, or they can't miss hit shots, and we kind of talk about having mental toughness. And so with our team, we pride ourselves with, understanding that there are going to be mistakes. You're not going to be great, but you've got to do everything you can to keep going at it, no matter what happens during that day and out on that golf course, and that you're still a part of that team. So, it starts a lot in practice. You get that team atmosphere, that team building, that team commitment to each other, especially when you get juniors and seniors going along that have been there for 3-4 years, that understand, the program and understand the expectations.
So, who are some players this year that you're looking to? You talked about having a pretty strong senior class, and I probably could name a couple of them, but who are some seniors that you have that you're really looking towards for that leadership?
I mean, I've got Ari Ziska and Ethan Voigt that have played for varsity for the last 4 years. You had Xavier Mischler, man. It's a great stick. Kid can really hit the golf ball. You've got Chase Carlson that played a lot of varsity last year. And then I've got a lot of kids looking good. I mean, Gabe Snyder first picked up the game, and a couple years ago, and now is probably one of my top players. He's only a junior. And then I've got, Hayden Effer. I've got Chase. I've got Chase. And then I've got Ostrick, who's a sophomore who learned a lot last year. And then I've got a couple freshmen that, they're gonna get a look. So it'll be good.
Good.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, we were talking about comparing to other sports, and it's amazing to me how just sports, with sports training, sports medicine, all these sorts of things that go on. In golf, what does the training regimen, in the off season look like? Is there weightlifting programs? Is there certain specific training that you do with the kids to prepare them for the season?
Yeah, that's kind of a good point that you brought up because, for the first few weeks of practice, we still had snow on the ground.
You're right.
So I looked at these kids, I said, hey, listen, we're going to be in the gym. And they're like, excuse me? I said, yeah, this is not, I want you to think about it. I was like, look at Rory. Look at, these top PGA players, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka. These guys are brick houses, man. They lift, they work out. They're constantly doing it. And growing up in Grand Blanc, I grew up at the Buick Open. So I was constantly, every summer, my dad would give me clubhouse passes and we would go follow the pros. And you would always see that these guys, every morning, there's these 4 trailers that the PGA sets up right next to each other. They open up and it's a mobile gym. And you watch these guys, they're coming out of there and they're working out. They go in the clubhouse, changing in their gear, get on the putting green, putt a little bit, hit the range. So we did that initially in the beginning of the season. I said, listen, here's your workout routine. It's all about core strength. It's all about stretching, making sure that you understand you're not going to prevent an injury while you're on the course. And we gave them 2 weeks of being in the gym where they can just work out. And then they said, wow, I do feel a little bit stronger. But then when you get on the golf course, they want to swing at 120 miles an hour. And it's like, whoa, back it off, kid. You're not trying to swing like Rory or Tiger.
I think that's our problem.
Happy Gilmore over here.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, that was a big part of our beginning of our season was actually being in the gym, working out, doing a lot of plyometrics, doing a lot of, calisthenics, doing a lot of stretching, because the biggest thing is we want to prevent injury, but the same is also develop strength so that way it proves on the golf course.
Yeah, that I guess if you're going to be a golfer, you need to be flexible. I mean, it's, not so much about strength as flexibility. And, I think because of the flexibility, you get the more of a strong swing, I think.
And that core strength, too, building up the core, getting the hips going and everything like that. I know my brother, he's a very dedicated gym rat. And so he can lift, he's strong, and it shows in his swing. And it does translate. It translates in all sports, so there's always great things that come about from extra additional training. So that's very good.
So, Mark, what's one of your biggest memories? I mean, how many state championships do you have? Is 08?
Yeah, 08. That's it. Been
right there a lot of times.
We've got, 5 or 6 runner-ups that we were close. Yeah, a couple of heartbreaks there that, we were in position to win, kind of slipped out of our hands. So, we've got a nice success track.
What's the one, I guess, a memory that comes to mind from your time as either a boys or girls coach that kind of sticks out, or maybe a couple, but I know that's probably hard.
Yeah, your state championship does, but I think more than anything, when you look back at your career, it's, those relationships with those players, the memories that you built with them, where they then reach back, when they're 20, 25, 30, talking about their experiences and what golf gave to them. Right. I think that sticks more than, any kind of championships that we've won is, those team things that we do, those team trips, we travel a lot, the kids talk about, and, it's the memories with the players.
I don't think that's any sport. When you ask kids, what's your favorite memory of, playing whatever sport in high school? And very rarely is it a specific game, but the bus trips or,
the bus.
Honestly, and so I'm not sure what happens on the bus always, exactly. But it's the bus trips or the, like you said, the camaraderie, the relationships that are built. It's not maybe that specific event or game that happened. And I think those relationships you build, I think that's maybe what kind of keeps bringing you back is those relationships and the love of the sport.
Yeah, and it's one thing I love about golf is because these kids, in any other sport, they never really get a chance to talk to their competitors. Here you are, you're walking that fairway with them, and you've got 4, 5, 6 hours where you really get the chance to get to know. And I think that really translate to when they, get out of college, they get a job, they know how to walk in any place and have a conversation with strangers, because in golf you're always playing with people you don't know, and you learn how to have that conversation, because 6 hours of silence it does not fly.
But
you know,
a couple of years ago, a girl that I went to college with got a hold of me and said, "Hey, my son's on the golf team. I don't remember where it was. It's southeastern Michigan," and said, "Yeah, my son was on the partnered up with a Big Rapids kid, and and named the kid." And I was like, I think it was Preston at the time, and
great kid.
Yeah, Preston can talk.
Yeah.
So mentioned Preston, and just I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. Just having that chance to do that.
Yeah, they get to know each other, and they see each other after college. PGM program, kids get involved with at Fair State. So yeah.
Now, have you ever had any issues with the player walking with the competitor and it gets a little too heated? I mean, does that happen? I mean, I can see the competitive juices flowing a little bit.
I think anytime you put two human beings next to each other,
right,
competing,
different smack talk.
those things might happen. And that's a part of golf, though, is you learn that this is a little bit bigger than just that competition. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Take care of each other, take care of that golf course, take care of the facilities that we have, because these high schoolers, we go to these tournaments, the school's picking up the tab to play some great golf courses.
Right.
I mean, I'm like, I want to go back to high school. I want to go play some of these courses that they do for the price they pay. I'm like,
I'll be honest, I don't know if
out.
I know a sport where the kids need more maturity and more respect for their surroundings than golf. I mean, not to downplay kids and that, but you look at golf and say, look at the privilege that you have, and how for the most part, these young people carry themselves.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot.
Man, it's taught. We make sure, and to make a point, that every place we go, we walk in, we talk to that head pro, we shake their hands, say, hey, thanks for letting us play today, because we know that those courses, they give up a lot for junior golf, and it's not easy. It's getting harder and harder every year for these courses to justify giving a day of golf to junior kids at a reduced rate, or letting them practice at 4:00 when, as well as I do, everybody's getting out, and they're out at 4 or 5 o'clock after work, and it puts a demand on their resources at each facility. And so it's important that those kids learn to give back. They learn to take care of, what they have, and, treat them with respect, and, appreciate it, because, everything can be taken away.
And let's be honest, it's not like there's a ton of great days to golf in Michigan. We have a really short, finite time window to play golf. You know?
Yep.
That's the reason why you see in the college level, all the schools down south, they're constantly crushing the rest of the teams from the north.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Michigan State's got a great golf program. They do. But it's hard to compete against schools like Stanford, Arizona, Coastal Carolina, because they get to play year round. Whereas up here, well, you're lucky if you get to go south for the winter to go play a little bit of golf.
You know what? Maybe we should host a tournament in January and put those southern teams to the test. Bring them up here to play in the snow.
They have that, whatever, the indoor
TGL.
TGL.
The TGL.
ESPN now, and that's really gotten big.
Yeah.
Just in the last, maybe it's been out there longer than I thought, but the last couple of years, you've noticed it just kind of take off.
It's a cool concept, too. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's what's really amazing about TGL. I don't know if you're aware of this, but they actually use natural turf when they're indoors. Mm-hmm. They actually have this big, I saw a video of it where they take this big crane and they drop down turf in there, and they've got sand, and they got a trap that you can hit out of and everything like that. The game of golf is just evolving, because you see where now simulators are getting really big, and everybody wants to play on a simulator, and they want to see that kind of thing. And living in Canadian Lakes, it's a whole different culture down there, because there's like 16, 18 different simulators in people's houses, for crying out loud.
Right.
So a lot of our players got to play during the wintertime on these indoor simulators in people's houses, and it's like, man, I never had that. I was lucky if we made a trip to the Dome and I could hit balls in 100-yard net in the Dome.
You see some, sports weaning, kind of maybe not as popular, but you look, and like I think you said it early in the conversation, you see golf kind of just maybe getting larger, honestly, because like you said, everybody can do it. And I think with technology and things improving, there's more of a chance to continue to work at your craft than there used to be.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a huge jump in golf these days for two different things I can think of. Number one, Tiger Woods. I mean, there's no question about it. Tiger has really opened up the door to junior golfers, and he sponsors junior golf programs. So, but the other thing that helped too was COVID. I mean, nobody had anything to do, so everybody's like, all right, I'm going to go play golf. I'm going to learn how to play golf. I'm going to pick up golf.
I got to go outside.
Yeah,
right.
And it just shows that golf has exploded over the last few decades because of this. And like to touch on what Mark was saying, it's hard to get some of these courses these days to say, hey, we can sponsor your kids and everything like that. You know, growing up with Flint Junior Golf, I mean, that's a huge nationwide program that I competed in for 12, 13 years as a youth. I'd be love to have that around this community, but you know, we got so many golf courses, but it could also build up golf in this area and make this a more recognized spot in the state for golf.
Well, do you want to go golfing, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to
all this golf talk, I think we should really start to sharpen our game and get back out there. What do you think?
First I got to get a game.
Yeah, me too. So having that point, what are like 3 tips that you could give just an amateur person who's not very good at golf? What are 3 top things that you'd tell somebody to work on?
Have fun. It doesn't matter whether you hit the
No,
ball.
we got that one. We
Right,
do that. All right, okay.
Not always. Back when you were, think about when you're younger, there was always that competition.
Oh,
and
yeah.
my best friend in high school was the captain of the golf team at Lumen. And so to go out with him, you thought you want to be competitive, and then sometimes, you get angry, and then finally you get to a point where you're like, who cares? Like you said, just let's go out and have fun. And
Yeah. I mean, you're out with your buddies. I mean,
Right.
have a great time with it. You're out with your family. I mean, enjoy it. You know, I mean, why do something that you're, going to get stressed over? Yeah, have a great time with it. I mean, be out, temper the expectations, enjoy being outside. Those are my biggest things.
Mark, stop holding back on me. I said 2 more. We need 3. I need some swing advice here, man.
swing advice.
I'll leave that to the man next to me. It's got that swing back around.
Yeah, what do you think, Matt?
Honestly, golf is 95% between your ears. So I always, when I was a kid, I read a book by Dr. Bob Rotella. It's called Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. And I try to emphasize that to my players every single day that, listen, you're not perfect. You watch the touring pros. They make mistakes too. They blade a shot, they flub a chip, they miss a 3-inch putt. It happens. You just got to accept the fact that this is what the game is about. It's just you're not perfect. And then once you strive to do better every single time, your game will improve. But the average American handicap, I think, is 30, 32 or something like that these days.
Yeah.
I mean, the average golfer is shooting over 100. So if you're breaking 100, you're doing just fine. Don't beat yourself up.
To that point, we were talking before the show kind of started about kids and, the reaction to success. Because golf is one of the most humbling sports there is. Because you can be good and just have an off day at the office. I mean, it could be anything. And you could be bad and just still be bad, like myself. But, how do you, how do the kids and how do you work with the kids, the players, about, making sure that you're staying in that mind space where, hey, next shot, what do I have to do to compete?
Yeah, we really, at Big Rapids, we plan it out. We write it out. They've got books that we journal in, it was different situations so that when they come in, they've had that thought before.
Oh, cool.
Like, what do we do? Even successful things. And like, hey, what are you going to do when you go birdie? How are you going to act mentally? What are you going to do, with your game to handle both the good and the bad of what golf? So we spend a lot of time, we spend a little bit of time with, getting those words on paper to make that plan. And spend the same thing. It's 4 years of expectations. It's 4 years of, take it easy on yourself a little bit. Have that expectation that one shot's not going to ruin your round. It's when you combo those up a little bit, that you start taking doubles and triples on a couple different holes. And that's, maturity. That's tough when you're 14 years old. It's, it's going to happen, but it's a great opportunity to go learn. Enjoy it. What'd you go learn?
Are there any rules that are specific to these matches that are kind of unique to high school that most people wouldn't know, or like somebody like myself who's not really know about the high school game?
No, we play. No, man, it's all USGA rules.
All USGA rules.
Down. No, there's no hiding.
Brian, we don't know those.
No, I'm like, I can't buy a mulligan. I can't do string.
String.
I love the grenade. I'll throw it.
Kick the ball.
Yep. Kick the ball out. No, the biggest one that we do is we modify our rule on score, max 10. So when a kid hits 10, they can pick up, walk off. They're done with that hole. And that's more done for pace of play.
Right.
Sure.
A little bit just to keep them moving because, like you said, you can get some kids out there, take some high scores. It's all right. You've had your score. Take your 10, move on.
Yep, absolutely. And then you just start hacking, and then it just starts going downward spiral from there, right?
That's very similar to other sports.
Sure.
You find, okay, you made a mistake. You move on because if not, the next time that ball's hit to you at second or short, you're going to be thinking, and then you flub that one. And I do this a lot with the youth sports I coach. I'm always, especially with baseball, I talk to the kids and say, me being a law enforcement officer, we're always taught what, if something happens, what's your next step? You go up to that patrol or up to a car on a traffic stop, something happens, what are you going to do next? You're always thinking ahead. And I tried to do that with our, baseball players too. Okay, ball's hit to you, where's your next move? Just don't get caught flat-footed, always be thinking ahead. And I think, you're making that reference to golf, that put it behind you, move on, because like anything in life, things compound sometimes if you dwell on it.
Yeah. And the nice, interesting thing with golf is, I can't sub. I can't pull somebody off that course.
That's a good point.
Once you're on,
I never thought of
There's
that.
one that I didn't know. There's a little tidbit.
there's no hiding. Once you've started, you're in.
You're in. That's it.
That's a good point.
How does injury play with that if a player was to get injured?
They would withdraw for the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Just call it. Absolutely. It happens sometimes. Not too often the disqualification. They throw a club, they swear, things like that. I guess that would be one of our more strict rules we have.
It's not exactly like Caddyshack where if Rodney Dangerfield goes, oh, my elbow. You can't just pull Danny Noonan in and let him play. You've actually got to take
an early 80s reference.
Love it.
Donut with no holes, the Danish. Don't forget that.
Right.
But honestly, you've got 5 guys playing out there. You take 4 scores. So you've got that one alternate guy that if he has a good day and he's on his game, you can pull that score in there for the 4 counting scores. So, you've got that one alternate that you can look at.
Right.
But, when the biggest, hardest part of working with these kids is just course management. And just explain to them, okay, you've got this par 4 that is 410 yards, but is lined by out of bounds on both sides. If your driver goes out of bounds the first time, how many windows need to break before you finally decide to use a 5-iron? And teaching these kids, hey, listen, if it doesn't work the first time, club down. Make it simple on yourself. Take a shorter shot, but then make a recovery.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I use a 3-iron to tee off with, and the guys are always like, well, that's because if I use my wood,
okay,
it's not going straight.
I was just going to say, we still refer to it as the one wood, not the driver. We're still in the one wood bag.
And it's still wood.
Yeah, it's still wood. You got to tighten the screws
My
every now
problem
and
is
then.
if I do that, my ball ends up in the woods.
But just remember, Tyler, when you're in the middle of a match, you cannot take out that wrench and adjust your driver during the round. That is illegal from USGA. So
I didn't know that. See, we're learning these tidbits now. They're coming out. You know what I mean?
And you talk about the memories. I asked Mark about memories, from his coaching, but Matt, some memories that you have or something that really stands out from your time playing. And actually, it's not like you're a first-time coach. You've coached for 3 years. Maybe something from that time period that really stood out to you.
Coaching down at Lake Fenton was a great opportunity. And I even tried to start a girls program down there, started as a club team, and I should check it out, see if they still got a girls team or not. But from my high school years, I think just the wealth of knowledge I got from playing with great players as junior golfers. I played 3 years with Mike Austin. He was a 4-time Mr. Golf in the state of Michigan. At one point held the AJ American Junior Golf Association record for lowest round in a tournament. I think he shot 62 or 63 at the Flint Elks Club during the Buick Junior Open. Playing with Mike taught me a lot, and he went on to play at Ohio State. He gave me a lot of wealth of knowledge about just being mentally prepared on the golf course, because playing with those guys, we didn't have chit-chat or banter in the middle of matches. It was pretty silent until we got to the tee box, and it was like, what'd you take? And we take our scores down and record it. But otherwise, it was pretty silent, because you go into Flint Junior Golf, and these kids are just chatterboxes. It's like golf league. Mom, dad playing golf league, this is their golf league. But then when you got in with these competitive players, I learned really quickly, okay, it's all about focus and mental and just stay on track with what you got. So that way, when you do take a bad shot, you can just say, yep, it's a race. Forget about it. On to the next one. And it's just objective with each shot. Other than that, I mean, that was great junior golf experiences, but I had a lot of great experiences playing golf here at CACI, even the PGM program. Some great players there, you know, some great guys that you talked about. Ari Ziska, his dad was in the PGM program with me, and, you know, Aaron Waltz and these guys, they were all great players. And here we are 22 years later, and we're still playing together.
It's amazing how much CACI has grown too, with all the like we were talking earlier about the indoor stuff that they have, the nets and everything that continues to grow. So that's great to have, and we have some other local courses that are great. You know, I try to get out there with Brian every now and then, like we've been talking, but we should really make sure that happens this year with our group, because you know,
in a few years.
Going back to Mark's point, and to everybody out there, if you haven't been a pro golfer or what have you, it's a great sport to enjoy, to get outside, go take some swings, and there's so many beautiful courses around us too. So get out there and make some strokes.
What I use the point, you know, my boys both love to go golfing with Dad. Now, my older one doesn't like the younger one tagging along sometimes. But they both, hey, Dad, can we go golf like on a Sunday? Sundays typically are, you know, the one day a week where you have nothing going on usually. Dad, can we go out to Clear Lake? Because Clear Lake's always been really good to us with the boys, you know, the young kids either golfing for free and Dad, can we go out and golf? And, you know, I look, and that's what I love, is the fact that my boys like doing that, and they like to do it with Dad, and, you know, taking that time together to go out and do that. That's, I mean, I look at golf, and that's what's special to me. And then the times that we've had with our group, you know, going out and
just having fun.
Yeah, and, you know, Tim Unger usually kicks our butts, but
hey, do you put Coop in his own golf cart?
Well, no, we're only getting one, and usually he wants to sit between Cam and I, or he wants to drive. And
well, then you got him locked in, then, right?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't trust him in his own. All right, so kind of closing out, what's a tournament this year coming up for Big Rapids and then Chip Hills that you're looking forward to because of the course you get to play at, and maybe the competition you get to face there?
Oh boy, yeah, great question. We've got a couple of them. Forgot the time. American Dunes is the first one, Folds of Honor, down there with Ian Ziska. Great way. We get a veteran that we honor every single year. We learn about him. Sometimes we give him a chance to travel, come down and spend the day, watch with us. It's a great day just to learn about, you know, the service, the commitment, the integrity of our military and what they do for our country.
That's awesome.
It is. It's
fantastic.
Great. And so that's one that we always look forward to.
It's a beautiful course.
It is. It's great. I mean, yeah, they've done a great job down there. It is. It's a tough course. Last year, we played it last year. It was like 25, 30 mile an hour winds. When you hit that in high school golf, you've got to be a player in order to score. And our boys just struggled, you know, and wind exposes. So it was a good day. The other one, we got a chance to head up. We're going to play Arcadia South up there. So we've got a 2-day tournament. We're going to go play it twice with, I think, 8 or 12 teams. Really good competition. And so those are the two big ones that we're kind of looking forward to.
Good.
Now, does the coach get to practice round over those courses too?
You know, I gave up golf a long time ago. And you laugh when you say it, but it's like by the time you spend how many hours and how many days on a golf course, I'm like, I rarely pick up that golf club. So
and the wife wants you to mow the lawn. You're like, no, it's okay.
Exactly.
I'll hire somebody to cut my grass.
No, those days of coaches tagging along with the club or two, I would. At American Dunes, we did a practice round last year. I wasn't able to make it, so I made sure that there were 6 other adults that got the chance to go do it instead of me.
Oh, that's cool.
And so they went down. They played a practice round with the boys the day before, which was, it's a great opportunity for them. And so, yeah.
I'll make sure we sign up for those next year then.
Yep, absolutely.
As for me, I'm kind of looking forward to the CACI Classic.
Yeah.
I am, because, I mean, what's nice about the CACI is just, you know, it's a home course. Everybody's familiar with it. And let's be honest, CACI's still a challenging golf course. So, and that's a course that I grew up playing in college. And I'm excited to see what these kids can do and score out there, because I know which holes can be really challenging. I know which ones can be kind of really play with their mental side. I want to see how they hold up on it. And, you know, let's face it, they always got a great field at that event. They got plenty of teams. There's plenty of talent there that you can see. And I'm just excited to see all the kids come out there and hopefully see some great golfers in the process too.
Awesome. Anything to close?
No, it's just been a pleasure being
it's been
on the show here, and thanks for inviting me. And just wish both the coaches here just a tremendous best wishes on the season. It sounds like both of you have just some great players and really great forecast for the upcoming year. So best wishes on that.
And good luck to both
Thanks,
you guys.
guys.
Thanks for being on. And was pretty excited about this. When I called Tyler and said, "Hey, this is what I have." I was just very excited about it. And
I was confused, actually. I was like, you want me to come on and talk about golf? You and me know, because we golf with each other, how much we know about golf, right? I mean, I have 2 clubs in my bag that are made of complete wood, and I have a Chippewa. I don't even know what a Chippewa is, but I have one.
No, I appreciate both of you guys being on, and good luck in your seasons.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know I'll be following both of you, but I'll probably be out at a few Big Rapids.
We'll go watch Tavi play.
Yeah.
We'll put the pressure on him.
Yeah. I don't know if he feels pressure.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know if he's. Yeah. I don't think Tavi feels pressure.
Okay.
So.
That's the kid to watch out for. Then, if they don't feel pressured, watch out for them. They're going to score well.
Yeah, and I can tell you, thank you, because he's enjoying it. So good luck to you, both of you.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
give me a buzz on
Appreciate it.
that.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll go check it out together.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, Curry's Hot Stove League here on B1039. Come say cheers at Zott's Bar and Grill in Big Rapids. Great food, great prices, and great people, where everybody knows your name. Zott's, people's choice for best soup. You don't want to miss their award-winning burgers and chili as well. Originally opened in 1933 and serving it up ever since. Seasonal beers on tap. Located at 732 North State Street in Big Rapids. Roxanne and Doug at Zott's Bar and Grill are proud sponsors of the Signature Player of the Week for the Curry's Hot Stove League every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. When was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout, or worse, visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town.